The ongoing search for football coach, the undefeated coach Travis Turner, Virginia State Police are on their way, 90 mph. He suddenly goes on a solo walk into the woods with a gun. He was tipped off. An intense search goes on and nobody can find him in the woods. Did he really even go into the woods? Breaking news tonight, the U.S. Marshals manhunt, an urgent update from the Marshals. Coach Travis Turner, the famed high school football coach, vanishes into rugged terrains, the mountains, with a gun. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. I want to thank you for being with us.
Union High School in Big Stone Gap, Virginia faces turmoil as head coach Travis Turner mysteriously vanishes days before their undefeated football team heads to the playoffs.
Why did he say that? That the coach vanishes just before the big football playoff? Correction, the coach vanished into the woods, we believe, carrying a gun, according to a witness, as LE law enforcement was on their way to his house to talk to him about claims he solicited a child for over his computer. You think he vanished into the woods with a gun and a sweatsuit because of the upcoming football game? I don't think so. Listen.
Law enforcement headed to the family home to interview Turner. On the way, investigators are informed Turner is no longer home. When officers arrived, they're told Turner was last seen going into a wooded area near his home wearing a gray sweatshirt and gray sweatpants.
Joining me, an all-star panel, including a rep from the U.S. Marshals Office who traveled the world looking for fugitives, as well as an expert in nationwide manhunts. But first, to Samantha Allen joining us, multimedia journalist from WCYB. On Insta, you can find her at Sam Allen Sports. Samantha, what the hey? Why is every banner that I read, and you can go ahead and plead guilty right now, girl, about the football game, the undefeated season? Oh, he's such a great football coach. Oh, he's such a great quarterback when he played football. Football. Hey, I like football just like everybody else. But you know what I hate more than I like football? I hate people that download on their computer. All right? I tried to look this guy up last night and I put in football coach and I got all kind of warnings like I was trying to download. I immediately just turned off the computer. So what happened, Samantha?
All right. Well, Virginia is a very tight-knit community already. So football is already on top of everyone's mind. This team has gone undefeated. He already is a all-star player.
Put her up. Samantha, what did I just say? I said, why is everybody talking about football when this guy, this trusted football coach, is allegedly downloading on his computer, probably at school? And what did you do? You know what? I don't trust you anymore. Dr. Bethany, what did she just do after I said, why are we talking about football? The football record, the football undefeated, the football, blah. And what did she just do?
She talked about football, and what she didn't talk about was the victims. And that is what should be front and center. I looked it up too last night, Nancy. It's all about the football. The community. Children are always underrepresented in our judicial system and in terms of protection. And I keep thinking about, who was he soliciting? Was it somebody in the school? What about the on his computer? Was he sharing photos with other? Is he a part of a ring where all these images are shared back and forth? And because of that, that is really the part of the story that should be front and center, because victims could be right in that community. If that community is so tight-knit, they're going to be concerned, hopefully, about the children more than about football.
Well, Dr. Bethany Marshall, now I'm going to make a very brief cameo appearance as a defense attorney. And I'm going to defend Samantha Allen after I just accused her. Samantha, I think part of the shock of these charges and soliciting a child over the computer. I think part of the reason everybody is so shocked is because what you just said. Because if it's true, if the allegations are true, this guy's been right under our noses with who else? Thousands and thousands of children, and he has been famous. He is famous. He has been lauded. He's a hero in the school and the community. His son played football under him and is now on the coaching staff with him. And I think part of this is the fact that all this time, when people have been sending their children to coach, to learn football, sports with him, he's been downloading. So I'm going to defend you just for a minute there, and I'm going to rewind. Samantha Allen joining us, multimedia journalist, WCYB. What's happening?
The community is very tight-knit, so they're not wanting to kind of put someone that's so familiar with them on blast until they have all the facts. And that's kind of the same thing that we're dealing with as reporters in this region, is trying to get people to talk. No one wants to talk to us. They want to defend him, and that's being a big issue. A lot of us are questioning, why are you trying to defend him, and why is it being kept so hush? And a lot of I went to the football
You're right,
game.
Samantha. I mean, it's bedrock in our justice system that this coach, Travis Turner, is innocent. As we're talking tonight, he's innocent. He is presumed innocent under the law. But that's not the end of that sentence, is it, Mark Tate, high-profile trial lawyer with the Tate Group out of Savannah, who shot to fame across the nation during the Alex Murdaugh double murder trial? He defended him to the very end on every news outlet there was. Mark Tate, that's not the end of the presumption of innocence jury charge, is it? That charge says the defendant is presumed innocent unless and until the state pierces that presumption of innocence with evidence to prove guilt. That's the rest of that sentence that defense attorneys like to conveniently forget.
Well, I mean, you're right. The state has the burden to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. I think the issue here, when we talk about that community, and I do have some familiarity with that area, is that no community that I've ever experienced wants to really understand that there is this kind of a shocking thing going on right there. I've seen it in the Catholic abuse cases, Boy Scouts, loved pediatricians, rabbis, organizations where you would never expect there to be something like this because you trust the person so much. And so it shocks the community. And I believe that when they have that type of shock, there is a great burden to overcome to convince them that, yeah, this person that you trusted was not worthy of your trust. And so I hope they're able to find him. I think wandering off into the woods, with a firearm sort of bodes poorly for him, obviously, because he's wandering around the Appalachian Mountains and it gets to be about 29 degrees at night. And he's probably got some survival skills. Who knows? But I think it's going to be hard to find him. And I think that once they get him, that community is going to have to be convinced that he did the things for which he was sought when they first went to pick him up on November 24, or announced that's why they were looking for him on November 24.
Hold on just a moment, Mark Tate.
The
You
presumption
do
of the
know that
innocence
a
is there
search
of innocence,
is
but it's got to
happening
go
right
on.
now for this guy? You don't think they brought out tracker
Yeah.
dogs, scent dogs, massive search for him? There's an incredible search going on. I wonder, did he even go into that rugged terrain? I know he
And it
goes
matters
out
who
in
the
the
witnesses
elements
are for that.
without
We
coats
don't
because
know
they
who
got
told him
video of
that.
him wearing shorts in the snow. And that is a very important question. To Samantha Allen joining us, WCYB, on the case from the very beginning. You got to take all your witnesses with a box of salt. Not a pinch, a box. Who said they saw this coach, Travis Turner, going into a heavily wooded area in sweatshirt, sweatpants, and a gun? Who said that to start with? How do I know that's where he really went?
We actually really don't even know if that is 100% true. It was only released to us from the Virginia State Police. The firearm, that was only told to us from the family's attorney, Adrian Collins. So we don't 100% know.
Wait. Samantha, Sam, what did you say about the family lawyer? It came from the family lawyer?
The family lawyer is the only person that has officially announced that he walked into the woods with a firearm. The Virginia State Police did not
Oh,
release that.
Whoa. Samantha, you just gave me some very vital information. Brian Fitzgibbons, did you hear that? So the only witness that sees him going into the woods with a sweatshirt, sweatpants, gun is somebody from within the family, because that's a family lawyer. I'm extrapolating here. Brian Fitzgibbons, Director Operations, USPA Nationwide Security, leading teams of investigators across the world trying to find missing people. Brian, consider the source. So the police are on the way. They've already one person has been either laid off or fired at the school in connection with this, and I'm dying to find out who that is and what their connection is. And now they're on the way to talk to him about it, obviously about the. And he walks into the woods, yet an intense search goes on, and nobody can find him in the woods. Did he really even go into the woods?
That's certainly a big question, right? Because when the source is coming from the family attorney and that this has not been confirmed by law enforcement, it's difficult to confirm that he did do that. And you're going to see the resources tied up to search this dense terrain with steep ravines, tons of trees, caves, rivers, you name it. This is very difficult, a difficult search to conduct.
You know, Brian Fitzgibbons, I'm very curious about the efforts being made to find him. I don't doubt that they are being made, but when you bring out canines, scent dogs, cadaver dogs, drones, helicopters, shoulder to shoulder, and you can't find him, that's concerning. It suggests he didn't go that way. But back to what happened. Listen.
Turner's disappearance days before his team's playoff game is now even more shocking. The coach is wanted on 5 counts of possessing, 5 counts of using a computer to solicit a minor. Additional charges pending.
Back to Samantha Allen joining us, WCYB. Explain to me what the charges are exactly.
So the charges are the 5 counts of and 5 counts of soliciting a minor using a computer. Those are the only charges that have been announced to us. They say pending, there's charges pending according to the Virginia State Police, but we do not know what that entails. And last we heard is that they're having that $5,000 award from the U.S. Marshal if someone finds him.
Irv Brandt joining us now, a former senior inspector with the U.S. Marshals Service, International Investigations Branch. He has traveled all around the world looking for fugitives, and he is now the author of a hit series on Amazon, Jack Solo Mysteries. The last one, Going Solo, The Gospel of Luke. Ooh, I can't wait to read that one. Irv Brandt, I'm very curious about the search for him and the likelihood that he has stayed within the area. Also, let me just kick it off with you about this reward. There is an urgent update from the U.S. Marshals Service. They are now offering a $5,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of the former undefeated football high school coach, Travis Turner. Now they've piled on. They're offering a $5,000 reward. Do you believe rewards work, Irv Brandt?
Nancy, yes, rewards do work. That's why the United States Marshals Service does it. People are more apt to give information if they think they're going to be rewarded for the information. I've worked cases for decades, and rewards were an integral part of those cases. And when the Marshal Service gets involved in a case like this, they don't get involved until the criminal charges are announced, that warrants have been issued. They don't help look for a suspect. they look for fugitives. And this man's a fugitive now. And that's why the Marshal Service is involved in offering a reward.
Guys, you are looking at Coach Travis Turner, undefeated. Okay, I will give in. Samantha Allen, tell me about his football record and why he is so notorious and famed in the area for all of those wins. And go ahead and tell me about his own football career.
I mean, his father was a football star there at Appalachia High School. Then we have him, who's also a football star at Appalachia High School. And then he starts coaching Union. His son's a football star at Union High School. And now he's coaching an undefeated team. And they're making it out to region championships. And they have gone with no losses. So now it's a big deal within the community of this guy that's so well known with his football career, with his dad being a football star and his son. And now he's leading this team into a championship, but then he just runs away. That's what makes this such a big deal within the community, is that someone that's so well known and so familiar with everyone, and everyone grown up, everyone I've talked to ever, when I go out there and I do my interviews, they know him. They know his father. They went to school with him. They went to school with his dad. Everyone knows everyone there. And no one knew that this was happening. So like you said, this was crazy that this was just right underneath everyone's noses and no one wants to believe it.
Travis Turner is a former high school football star quarterback, capturing 3 state titles as a player in the mid-90s. Now, the head football coach at Union High, Wise County, Virginia, since 2011. And this year, the team is undefeated heading into state playoffs. Travis and Leslie Turner married 2001 and have 3 children, sons Bailey, 23, and Graydon, 20, and daughter Brinley, 11. Bailey played quarterback and is currently a physical education teacher at the school and serves on the football coaching staff. Graydon is in the Army, and Brinley is in the 6th grade.
Take a listen to Robin Lawson from VSP, Virginia State Police.
The Virginia State Police has obtained 10 warrants for missing high school football coach Travis L. Turner, 46 of Appalachia. Turner is wanted on 5 counts of and 5 counts of using a computer to solicit a minor. The investigation is ongoing and additional charges are pending.
Let me drink this in. Joining me, Crime Stories investigative reporter Dave Mack. Dave, okay, hold on. Coach Turner, Travis Turner, former high school football star quarterback, capturing 3 state titles. Now the head football coach, Union High, that's Wise County, Virginia. He's been there since 2011. Right now his team is undefeated and heading to state playoffs. His son is a football star. His father is a football star. And now his son is a PE teacher and is a football coach with him. Do I have that all right, Dave Mack? What more can you tell me?
Well, Nancy, you have everything exactly right. The frustrating part of all of this, Nancy, is what you started with at the beginning of the show, talking about football. Because, you know, in reality, this is another teacher that is attempting to children that are in their charge. We don't know the ages of the children he's accused of possessing pictures of or attempting to contact, other than knowing they're minors. But Nancy, we do shows all the time about teachers involved with students. Do we not have a class at the beginning of a year telling all the teachers and coaches, don't touch the kids?
So this is a dynasty. And it goes way far back and it's going into the future. His father, football star, his son, football star, on the coaching staff at the high school with him. You know, Dr. Bethany Marshall joining us. Let me introduce her properly. Renowned psychoanalyst out of the LA jurisdiction. You can see her now on Peacock. She is an author of Deal Breakers, which is on Amazon. You can find her at drbethanymarshall.com. Dr. Bethany, this is going to be a hard nut to crack. You know why? Because when you pull jurors in for an ultimate jury trial, this guy, either they're going to know him personally or they're going to know his wife, who's very active in the football community and in the community at large, his sons. He's also got a daughter who's in high school right now, middle school, his father. They have an excellent reputation in the community, and it's going to be very difficult for them to believe this guy did anything of the sort. They would probably fall for some zany conspiracy theory like the was planted on his computer. I mean, I could see somebody actually believing that.
I agree with you, Nancy. The whole community is probably still in denial at this point, and we saw this with Jerry Sandusky, Larry Nassar, with the Catholic priests, is that older white males typically are protected when charges are brought against them. It is just so typical. But Nancy, think about the broader story here. Who was this guy soliciting? Was it some underage minor at the school there? Did that minor go to their parents? Did the parents then pull on that thread, go to the administration? Were there complaints brought to the administration about Coach Travis, but those complaints went ignored? We're going to learn so much about this. Are there a group of child predators in that community or in that state who are sharing images back and forth? We saw, with Jerry Sandusky, Nancy, once the charges were brought against him, remember all the kids he coached started coming out of the woodwork and saying, oh yeah, he asked me to take a shower with him and I thought it was kind of strange, but then I just decided, just to ignore it because he was my coach and I wanted to play on the team. Who is going to come forward in this case? My hope is that every parent of a child in that school is going to sit down with their kid and ask about their interactions with this coach so they can determine if their child has been a victim and give them the appropriate support they need.
To Mark Tate, joining us, high-profile defense lawyer with the Tate Law Group. Mark Tate, this is a defense attorney's dream come true, to be defending a veteran football coach who has touched the lives of thousands of students, of thousands of families in a good way. His father the same, his son the same, his wife the same. I mean, they're going to walk into this courtroom with basically a halo over their heads.
We faced this kind of problem when we were pursuing the Catholic Church and the Boy Scouts, and absolutely juries and judges and the community, especially in large Catholic communities or a large community that has a lot of people involved in scouting. You have a definite bias in favor of what we think is the perpetrator and against accusers. People simply don't want to believe that this kind of thing could happen in their own community to people they trust. And so a defense lawyer can certainly use that to his or her advantage in presenting their defense to this case. And so I think the prosecutors will be armed with fantastic research and development of the charges against him, and I think that there's experience in doing it, and I think that that bias is something to be aware of. But I think they can overcome it given this situation, because as equally hard as they support him, they can turn hard against him when they start to see facts that are unrefutable.
Holidays are just around the corner, and that means a lot of excitement and stress. If you, like many people right now, are relying on credit cards to cover the basic costs of life, then you're going to have gifts, travel. The debt is piling up. If you are a homeowner, think of reaching out to American Financing. Maybe you didn't before, because you don't want to give up a low mortgage rate. Well, American Financing has created the Smart Equity Loan. It's a smart way to pay off that debt without giving up a low mortgage rate. It's called HELOCs, Home Equity Line of Credit. It can fluctuate with the market. The Smart Equity Loan offers a fixed rate, so you will have one predictable monthly payment. Dial 866 888-0344. 866-888-0344. Or go online to americanfinancing.net/Nancy. And good luck.
As the team heads into playoffs without their leader, tension rises in Wise County. The school district suspends an employee with pay, sparking speculation that the missing coach, Travis Turner, is involved.
So to Samantha Allen joining us, WCYB, the other individual at the high school was only suspended with pay.
Yes, it's unconfirmed if that was exactly Turner. Of course, you can make a speculation and decide for yourself that the employee that was put on paid leave is Travis Turner, but it still has been yet to be confirmed for the VSP. So the Virginia State Police have yet to confirm if that is exactly the employee that was put on leave.
Dave Mack, Crime Stories, I understood that one employee was put on leave and they were going to interrogate Coach Turner when he disappeared, but she's right, that could be one in the same, right? I mean, what, you don't get fired for claims you have on your computer, you just get suspended with pay?
Well, you've got an investigation going. That's the whole point. I believe that what we're talking about is the same person. The investigators were headed to his house to talk to him. They didn't have an arrest warrant or anything for him at the time. They were merely going to investigate the allegations that they'd heard about. And while they were on the way, that's when he bolted. We don't know. See, we don't know, Nancy. Did somebody call him and
Dave
say,
Mack,
Coach, run?
You and the Disney princesses can keep singing that. I'm not sure that's altogether fact. Sounds like fiction. Mark Tate, please. They're on their way in their patrol car to his house to talk to him about claims. HELLNO. They were going to arrest him. Why are we pretending?
Oh, they're going to arrest him. I think that's exactly right. And who knows if he got the tip off. And I think the important thing to recall, and I'm certainly not criticizing for this, but there's a family lawyer who represents them who's already in play. And I know that lawyer wouldn't condone in any way someone becoming a fugitive, but we know that when the police get there, this family lawyer, should he be involved at that point, is going to tell the coach not to be talking. And so, if he's afraid to do that, thinking he's going to get arrested either way, which he is, he's going to head to the woods.
Mark Tate, earlier you said maybe he was tipped off. Oh, okay. So while Ellie, law enforcement, Virginia State Police are on their way, 90 mph, to his place to talk to him, he suddenly goes on a solo walk into the woods with a gun. Yes, he was tipped off. They're coming to get you. Now, who could have done that? Oh, somebody within the police force.
Anybody.
Could it have been someone he coached that played on his team? That bears an investigation right there. How did he know?
It can be obviously anybody who has sufficient knowledge about it. Absolutely.
Well, yeah, but they had to be within the police department because they had to know.
Sure.
Cops were on the way to talk to him, as Samantha Allen said. Samantha, also, we have searched and searched for the actual charges, the verbatim charges. I was looking, hoping to find the age of the alleged victims in this case. Couldn't find them. And I believe that is because there has not been a grand jury proceeding charging him. There is not a formal indictment. Is that correct? Yes, no?
Yes, correct.
There's not a formal indictment. So when we say there are 5 charges and 5 charges regarding soliciting on a computer for, those are police charges. For instance, Samantha Allen, you and I get in a bar fight. I crack you on the head with a bottle. First of all, police arrest me on charges of aggravated assault with a broken bottle. That's the first thing. Then it goes to a grand jury where they hear evidence and they issue a formal indictment. So the charges we're talking about tonight are police charges. Is that correct?
Yes, it's
Got
an
it.
investigation
Okay.
that's still ongoing.
Now, I want to talk to you about a subtle but critical discrepancy. We are now being told through the family lawyer that undefeated football coach Travis Turner, goes into the woods in a sweatsuit and a gun. But isn't it true? On the police report, there was no mention of a gun.
Yes, so the police report just says gray sweatshirt, gray sweatpants, and glasses. And then we hear throughout rumors throughout the whole entire week that he was carrying a firearm. He went into the woods. Then we get a statement from the attorney that was released saying nothing about what he was wearing, just yes, he walked into the woods with a firearm. The firearm is undisclosed. We don't know what he walked in with or who saw him. That is not told to us. We have no clue who saw him walk into the woods or where they got that information. And we've asked the attorney for clarification, and he's yet to give it to us.
Brian Fitzgibbons, don't you think that that is a critical fact that was not in the police report? Why was it not in the police report? I don't believe it's because police forgot. I don't believe they were told about the gun at the get-go.
Yeah, that certainly would be the case because, all too often, especially when you're searching for a fugitive, police are going to release information that somebody is expected to be armed, so the public is aware of that. So I would think that if it were included to police on the outset, that would have been initially reported by police.
I mean, Irv Brandt, you're the former senior inspector with the U.S. Marshals Service, International Investigations, for Pete's sake. Isn't that an important fact that you would want the public to know at the very beginning? Don't approach this guy. He's armed.
Yes, Nancy, that's exactly right. Determining the suspect's potential for violence and public safety is foremost in law enforcement efforts in conducting a fugitive investigation. And we always warn the public not to approach a fugitive. I mean, even if there is no indication of a firearm, it's safer to assume that someone has access to a firearm. And we don't want the general public to endanger their lives while trying to assist law enforcement.
United States Marshals Service joins the hunt for Turner, still listed as a missing person, having last been seen November 20th. The Marshals Service is offering a reward of up to $5,000. Tips can be reported to 911, the Virginia State Police, the United States Marshals Service, 1-877-WANTED-2, or online, usmarshals.gov/tips. Authorities said he may be armed, so caution is advised.
American homeowners, the FBI has been warning about a type of real estate fraud called title theft. Your equity, the target. With just a forged signature, your ownership can be transferred out of your name. And without protection in place, you're left with an emotional and financial nightmare. That is why we partner with Home Title Lock, so you can find out today if you're already a victim and protect yourself. Use promo code Nancy at HomeTitleLock.com to get a free title history report. Free title history report, plus a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's 24/7 monitoring, urgent alerts, and if you are a victim of fraud, they will spend up to $1 million to fix it. Please don't be a victim. Protect your equity today. You've been working your whole life and putting money into your home. Don't lose the equity. That's HomeTitleLock.com. Promo code Nancy, or just use the link below, and good luck.
Travis Turner's biggest fan and supporter is his wife, Leslie. Her Facebook page is a place where Union High football fans gather online to get updates on the team. Leslie regularly encourages the team on her page, including one post 5 days before Turner disappeared. Game day. Good luck to my guys today and to all of Union's football team and coaches. After Turner vanishes, Leslie posts, I just wanted to get on here for a second to clear up something. As of right now, 10:25 p.m. on Friday night, Travis is missing, And that's all we know. We love him and need him here with us. Thank you to everyone who has reached out with love and support. It means more than you know. Just keep praying that he comes home. The post was deleted a short time later.
The mom, his wife, Leslie, the mother of his 3 children, posting about Turner vanishing, but then she deletes that and says this.
As the search for Travis Turner continues, wife Leslie shuts down her social media and has only made one public comment saying, "None of that is true. He's a good dad and a good husband, and we want him home. That's it."
I want to talk about the search, the ongoing search for football coach, the undefeated coach, Travis Turner. But first, I want to understand the charges. 5 counts using computer to solicit a minor. First of all, he has been referred to as the perv coach, the pedo coach. But to Dr. Bethany Marshall, explain to me the desire a guy in his position working with children would have to see children children.
Well, he's going to have a very specific offending pattern, which will come out in the grand jury and when we learn more about this story. But usually, if the allegations are true, generally like prepubescent children, and when the children turn 13 or 14, they age out, they're no longer desirable, or they like to have power over minors, and then that's a part of the offending pattern. Imagining that a 14, 15, or 16-year-old girl or boy could be a boyfriend or a girlfriend. But what happens with these perpetrators is that they can only become sexual through relationships with children, right? So they want to see children naked, they want to see children maybe in the showers, in the locker room, they want to pass images around. And what happens is they need more and more to stimulate. So the images become more and more sensationalized. So they might start out just with a picture of a baby or a picture of a minor, and then they want to see a minor having. Then it just sort of escalates from there. I think probably what happened in this case, similar, like let's say Robert Morris, who was a pastor, he founded Gateway Church. He children for years, okay? He predated on minors, and all the deacons in the church surrounded him and protected him. And it took one girl that he in the 80s who came out last year, wrote a letter and exposed him, and she got threats from the deacons in the church because she wanted to expose him, but she was brave. She went forward, she did expose him, and now he's left the church and, has been brought up on charges and all of that.
I'm very
so
curious,
I think we're going to find,
Bethany, as to whether this inclination starts early on. It's very difficult when you have a famous, even just locally famous icon charged in a case like this. And let me refer everyone to the hit reality series 19 Kids and Counting. Remember the Duggar family that had, I think it ended up with like 20 children? Okay, listen to this.
Our son Josh came to us on his own, and he was crying, and he had just turned 14, and he said that he had actually improperly touched some of our daughters. He said he was just curious about girls, and he had gone in and just basically touched them over their clothes while they were asleep, and they didn't even know he had done it.
None of the victims were aware of what happened until Joshua confessed, and then
it wasn't like we were keeping a secret, afraid or something. It was we didn't know until Josh explained to my parents.
That from the Kelly file. Now, that was when Duggar was 14 years old. Nothing was done. All right, it was swept under the rug. And then, fast forward a few years, this.
We were able to get from this IP address one specific video and one folder containing approximately 65 images from a specific IP address. Mm-hmm. We served a federal summons for that IP address. That IP address came back to Ozarks Go with a subscriber of Joshua Duggar with cell phone. I'm assuming that's personal cell phone, with that email address that you just mentioned.
So, Dr. Metheny, it started that we know of him, his sisters, at age 14. That's when we find out about it. And then fast forward, when he's got a wife and a family, he's downloading. Sound familiar? So does this start when you're a child?
Yes, it does. It's considered like a fixed pattern that is there from birth. Now, it's hard to really measure because children under the age of 5, 6, or 7 don't images, don't talk about sex. So it doesn't really emerge until later in life. But the most common age of is age 13. And Josh Duggar was 14 at this point. And the reason for that is that's when they become aware of sex, and that's when they begin to, and that's when they have access to siblings, to classmates, to things like that. But see, we see again here that the community protected him, and he went on to even more.
Well, speaking of community protecting him and someone being famous who's actually, do I even have to say former Subway sandwich pitchman Jared Fogle? Listen to Fogle caught on tape.
Yeah, especially some of the middle schools. I love the middle schools, and the girls are starting to get,
Yeah.
Because you know how much I love big, I love you.
Guys, did you hear Jared Fogle? The Subway pitch guy, he lost 245 pounds eating nothing but Subway sandwiches and appeared in like 300 Subway commercials. Superstar. Yeah, especially at some of the middle school. I love middle schools. The girls are just starting to get, because you know how much I love big, I love huge. If I heard my son say the word, I don't care if he's 6'6", I would wash his mouth out with soap. And it goes on and on. I just played you a little snippet of this perv. Jared Fogle, the Duggars. What the hey? And now this coach who, by the way, is innocent until proven guilty. I want to talk about the search to Irv Brandt joining us, former senior inspector, U.S. Marshals Service, International Investigations Branch. Do you remember the glam yoga coach? Remember her, Caitlin Armstrong? She murdered a world-class dirt bike rider, gorgeous young girl. Yeah, there's the yoga instructor right there. And she was spotted on airport video, and it was totally her. Oh, there you go. With her yoga mat, ding, ding, ding. It's me, everybody. Here I am, the yoga instructor with a yoga mat. So I guess the first thing you do is go to the airports, Irv.
That's exactly right, Nancy. And as you were talking about, this was the first case that came to mind, was Armstrong case. When you start a fugitive investigation, you don't start it on any assumptions. An unreliable witness saying that, you investigate all possible leads, of course, but you don't, concentrate your entire efforts. You're going to put out the bolos to different states. You're going to flag passports. You're going to check DLs. You're going to look for all vehicles associated with the suspect and also the suspect's family and also the suspect's friends to see if any have gone missing. And just like in the Armstrong case, it wasn't her passport that they found had left the country. It was her sister's passport that had left the country, and she was still in the country. So it's very similar. The cases, the way it's conducted, goes along those same lines. You're going to look for financial means. You're going to search for tags on known vehicles. You're going to use every investigative tool that you have, conducting this search locally, then nationally, then eventually internationally.
Well, yeah, and a way to do that, to Brian Fitzgibbons from USPA Nationwide Security, I want to find out this. Has he used his ATM? When was the last time he used his ATM? Where did he use it? Do I have a picture? How much did he withdraw? Did he do repeat withdrawals? Because some ATMs you can only get, say, $200 at a crack. Did he go into a line of credit to get more money? Has he used his credit cards? Where is his car? Has he used a rental car? Did he get a rental car, even in an adjoining county beyond Wise County? Do we have video? What about license plate grabbers? I haven't heard a word about his car being missing. That tells me he's not in his car. He may be in another car. And also, this search, if they have brought out drones, cadaver dogs, scent dogs, everything, shoulder-to-shoulder searches, you name it, that tells me he wasn't in the woods to start with. So where is he? He's not on foot. I can tell you that much. He's not hiding out at somebody's house, a sympathizer. So where is he? Where do we start? Needle in a haystack.
Well, what Irv Brandt just brought up is a very prescient point here. The financial means that Travis Turner has are probably not great. So this, how is he going to access funding to be on the run for long?
Put him
right?
up.
So,
Put him
so
up.
that's something.
You haven't
that
heard of a line of credit?
I certainly
you get a line
have,
of credit on your checking account. You can get $100,000 out of a line of credit and be gone.
Yeah, I just think that this was an emergent. He was tipped off that they were coming to his house to speak to him. That this wasn't a planned escape, so to speak. So I think all the signs lead to that this happened very quickly. I think that's going to be uncovered, right? Who knew? Yeah, who knew that they were coming out there to speak to him? Who knew that law enforcement was on the way? They're certainly going to have some cell phone records that are available for who called and text communicated with his phone, and I think that they will uncover that in the coming days here.
Okay, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Samantha, the closest airport is in Appalachia, Virginia, the Tri-Cities Regional Airport. That's in Blountville, Tennessee. Is that right? 59 miles away?
Yes, that is the closest airport.
To get from his home to there, that's about at least an hour drive. How did he get there if that's where he went? I don't see him flying, because wouldn't we have a register of that, Irv Brandt? Wouldn't he have already been spotted if he had taken a plane?
It depends on the flight, Nancy. Of course, when you're flying domestically, all you need is a government ID. Then investigators could check with TSA to see if he used a valid government ID to get into the airport. If he flew internationally, of course, there'd be a record of that in text, the Treasury Enforcement.
I don't see him flying. Do you, Irv? I think he's somewhere else. I don't think he took a flight.
I would not know, Nancy. Like your other guest had said, it doesn't seem like this was planned out in advance. It was something that happened at the spur of the moment. So most fugitives are going to avoid places where there's camera security, police officers, and there's hardly any place in the country that has more cameras and more police and more security than an airport, and especially an international airport.
Yeah. So Samantha Allen, what's the temperature? What's your low overnight in that area?
Oh gosh, it's probably reached about 26 degrees. And we got cold happening, so it's like freezing cold rain.
So he is not out in the woods roughing it. I don't need to find out if he has taken camping gear with him. He's somewhere else. He's probably holed up at a local hotel motel, hiding out, not too close, which means he's got help, Brian Fitzgibbons. They better have a tap on everybody's phone, because Daddy's called home.
Yeah, certainly. And one piece that I want to add here, Nancy, that I think we haven't really covered too much. These charges are umbrella terms that are going to be standard for any time someone's charged with possession of explicit child material. So this could have been something he found online, but I think it may be more likely that it's somebody from that high school, right? So investigators are going to be it could have been a text message exchange or things like that. So investigators are going to be unraveling a weave of a network of people that knew about this, that have communicated about it. So in the coming days, I think we're going to learn more about exactly what type of material it was, what the origin was, and that network could shed some light on where he might be.
Mark Tate, you know what the defense is going to be, because it's really hard to argue that's not my computer in my office behind the locked door. He's going to have to say, oh, it just popped up. You know, in all the years that I do research, I've never had pop up. Not once.
It's not a very good defense. And I think possibly they're going to have to, if he ever gets indicted and ever is found, I think that a more creative approach is going to have to possibly be found, and maybe find a way to cross-examine the forensic folks who are going to have found this material and say other people had passwords, show that, maybe show other people had access to the computer at work. But I think it's found on your computer. You have to find something else than it just popped up, because it just doesn't work that way. And the forensic folks find that. And I know this because we found this kind of material, as I've mentioned before, in civil matters against Catholic priests and rabbis and pediatricians. And so it happens, and it does not just pop up on your computer. It's an active search. The searches are traceable. And so that defense is a failure. But again, this guy's still wandering, and everybody's focused on airports and how tight the security is there, Nancy. But there's an Amtrak station in Bristol, and those avenues like Amtrak are far less secure than an airplane. But all of it gets back to getting him indicted, and then getting him in front of a jury with a lawyer who can craft something to have one juror say, I've got a reason to doubt these charges. It's going to be an interesting
You're right
trial
about
to watch,
Amtrak.
I look forward to it.
And Amtrak is cheap. And you don't have to go through a lot of security. I don't know that you even have to show ID to buy a ticket in cash. You can go
A ticket in cash or a money order, absolutely.
Yeah, all the way across the country, of course, which would leave somewhat of a trail if they've got video surveillance in the Amtrak station. But you could go all the way across the country for under $200 without a trail that you would leave at the airport. But, you know, Mark Tate, this is not the first time Union High School has had to deal with allegations against a coach or teacher, right?
That's exactly right. I think that's fascinating. That's the kind of thing, obviously, that a plaintiff's lawyer, a lawyer pursuing civil remedies for this kind of thing, looks to. And this high school has this fella, another football coach, Timothy Lee Metter, who pled guilty or was convicted of child solicitation, of soliciting for inappropriate purposes. So it's not the first time that Union High School has had a problem, and there may be a deeper issue involved. Obviously, that's something that should and will be investigated. What exactly is going on there? Why is this a repeat situation? The Metter guy was about 20 years younger than the actual head coach, but there's something bizarre at that high school, from my viewpoint, trying to hold people accountable other than this man who has disappeared.
And another thing about what you're saying, Mark, is the same lawyer who represented Timothy Metter, the previous coach/teacher at the same high school that pled guilty to indecent liberties with a minor. He got a light sentence, about 1 year and 3 months, and then he was out free. He gets a slap on the wrist, same high school, and now this happens. And within the same school district, which is Wise County, the same county, there's another guy, a teacher, arrested on 3 counts, carnal knowledge. That was Tyler J. Tibbs, a social studies teacher at Coburn Middle. So, Dr. Bethany Marshall, that makes it worse as far as the Union High goes, because they should have been on high alert after Meadows.
Yes, they should have. There's two kinds of cultures when it comes to these kinds of crimes. A culture who supports the children, and a culture like what we saw in the Catholic Church who supports the adults and cannot believe that is a. But Nancy, I want to go back to him being a fugitive. I am going to guess if the family hired the same attorney, that they knew that there was an investigation going on, that the family was talking about this, and the family probably has information on dad, father, spouse, on whether or not he was making any preparations that were unusual or out of the ordinary for him. Like, as you said, getting cash. Was he talking about other states? Anything like that, they could be a treasure trove of information.
As we go to air tonight, football coach Travis Turner is presumed innocent. His team has gone on to win again. They remain undefeated, even in his absence. If you know or think you know anything about what happened, if you know a child that may have been a victim, if you know where he is or where he's headed, if you think you've seen him, please call Virginia State Police 276-484-9483. Or you can always call the U.S. Marshals Service 1-877-WANTED. That's 1-877-926-8332. There is a $5,000 reward for Travis Turner. And now we remember an American hero, Guard member Sarah Beckstrom, West Virginia National Guard, just 20 years old, shot in the line of duty, leaving behind her grieving father, Gary. American hero, Guard member Sarah Beckstrom. Thank you to our guests for being with us tonight, but especially to you for joining us. Nancy Grace signing off for tonight, but I'll see you tomorrow night. And until then, good night, friend. Hi, guys. Please join us on our mission to find missing people, especially children, to solve unsolved homicides. And if you're on the go, please join us on your favorite podcast app where you can get all our content, where we, in our way, seek justice.